All right, let's talk about something that seems super simple, but is absolutely critical if you have a battery bank: the disconnect switch. You know, it's your main safety switch for maintenance, for emergencies. But here's the deal: one tiny mistake in how you install it can turn that safety device into a serious fire hazard. So let's dig in and make sure your setup is actually safe.
So, installing a switch, it seems pretty straightforward, right? You just cut a cable and stick it in. But what if I told you that picking the wrong cable could leave your whole system energized even when that switch is in the off position? A lot of how-to guides show you the physical steps, but they totally skip over the electrical principles that are the real difference between a safe system and, well, a disaster waiting to happen.
And we're not talking about small problems here. We're talking about high amperage electrical arcs that can literally vaporize a wrench in your hand. We're talking about switches that get so hot they melt and catch fire. And this is the one that really gets people: the hidden danger of having live hot terminals even after you've confidently flipped that switch to off. It gives you a false sense of security that is just incredibly dangerous. We're going to make sure that's not you. Okay, so this brings us to the single most important decision you're going to make here. Does the switch go on the positive cable or the negative cable? And listen, this isn't just a matter of preference. This is probably the most critical safety choice you'll make for your whole electrical system. Let's see exactly why. Okay, take a look at these two setups. On the left, we've got the switch on the positive line. You can see it cuts the power right at the source. The whole circuit just goes dead. It's clean, it's simple, it's safe. Now look at the right. When you put the switch on the negative line, you're only breaking the return path to the battery. That means the entire positive side of your system is still hot. It's fully energized, just sitting there waiting for any accidental path to ground. And that's where things get really, really sketchy. Let's make this crystal clear. Picture this. It's a classic scenario. You're working on your setup, maybe tightening a terminal, and hoops, you drop a metal wrench. It falls and lands, touching a positive terminal and the metal frame of your vehicle or boat. The outcome of that one simple slip-up is completely different, and it all depends on where you put that switch. And here it is. With the switch on the negative line, that wrench instantly completes the circuit to ground. You get a massive, violent arc. We're talking sparks, melting metal, the whole works. It's incredibly dangerous. But with the switch on the positive line where it belongs, the power is already cut off at the source. That wrench is just a piece of metal sitting on a dead terminal. No sparks, no danger, nothing. This right here is exactly why the switch always goes on the positive line. End of story. Okay, so we know where to put the switch. That's half the battle, and it's the most important half. But the job's not done. The next thing we have to get right is making sure the switch and the fuse that protects it are actually strong enough to handle the power. Using an undersized switch isn't just a mistake. You're basically installing a fire starter. Everything we do from here on out starts with one single number: your maximum load current. This is simply the absolute highest amount of juice, in amps, your system will ever pull at one time. Think about the moment you fire up a big power inverter or kick on a heavy-duty motor. That initial surge, that's the number we need to plan for. Every other safety calculation we make depends on getting this number right.
Now, here's a crucial tip. You don't just go out and buy a switch that's rated for your max load. No way. You always build in a safety buffer. The industry standard rule of thumb is to multiply your max load by 1.25. This gives you a 25% safety margin. Think of it like an insurance policy against overheating when you get those unexpected power surges. It's what keeps your switch from becoming the weakest link in the chain.
Let's just run through a quick example. Say your system's maximum load is 100 amps. Simple math, you take 100, multiply it by 1.25, and you get 125 amps. So that means you have to choose a switch that is rated for at least 125 amps. And then you'll grab a fuse with that same reading, 125 amps or higher, to protect the switch. It's a super simple formula that completely takes the guesswork out of being safe.
All right, awesome. We've covered the really critical why. Why placement and sizing are just completely non-negotiable. Now, let's put it all together and walk through the how. The great thing is, with the knowledge you have now, every single one of these steps is going to make perfect sense. Okay, here's your checklist for getting it done right. First, you do the math. Calculate your needs using that 1.25x rule. Second, you buy the right parts: a switch and a fuse rated for your voltage and amperage. Third, and this is the big one we've been talking about, install them on the positive line. And notice the order here. The fuse always goes between the battery and the switch as close to the battery as possible. 4, mount everything so it's solid and won't vibrate loose. 5, use the right size cable, that's what AWG is, to stop it from overheating. And finally, and please do not skip this,
double-check every single connection. Make sure they are clean and make sure they are tight. A loose connection is just an arc waiting to happen. Okay, you've done the hard work, you followed the rules, the installation looks great. But hold on. Before you go and flip that switch on for the first time, we have to do one last, very important check. Think of this as your final line of defense against any simple oversight. These are the absolute do not break them rules. 1. Wear your safety gear, gloves, and eye protection. Seriously. 2. Never, ever assume a circuit is dead. Always prove it to yourself with a multimeter. 3. Double, triple check your polarity. Getting plus and minus mixed up can instantly fry your gear. And I'm going to say it again. Confirm every single terminal is tight. And please, never, ever bypass a fuse or use a cheap, undersized switch just to save a couple of bucks. That is literally how fires start. You know, when it's all said and done, it boils down to this single idea. The goal isn't just to have a switch that turns things off. The goal is to do it safely and reliably, every single time. Your disconnect switch isn't a gadget. It's a piece of critical safety equipment, and it has to work perfectly without question every time you need it. That's the standard we're shooting for. So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Look at your own system, or the one you're planning to build. After everything we've just covered, is that disconnect switch a true safety asset? Or is it maybe a hidden liability, just waiting for one wrong move to cause a big problem? The good news is, now you have the knowledge to make sure it's the former. The choice, and the safety, is entirely in your hands.